This story will shock you. Every day he had to fly on airplanes, but he never wore a seatbelt. Yet this habit ended up saving his life. While the girl was sleeping beside her boyfriend, a fighter jet suddenly roared past and directly crashed into the passenger plane. The body of the plane was instantly torn open with a huge hole, and the powerful airflow at high altitude immediately sucked flight attendants and passengers out of the cabin. Because she wasn't wearing a seatbelt, the girl was thrown around by the shaking plane. Just as the airflow was about to pull her out, her boyfriend grabbed her in time, but in the end, he couldn't resist the powerful airflow and lost his grip. Luckily, he reacted quick and grabbed onto a nearby seat, preventing himself from being thrown out. But her boyfriend wasn't so lucky. The airflow instantly tore the plane into two halves and took him away as well. Then the girl began rapidly falling together with the other half of the plane. At this moment, unexpectedly, the girl miraculously survived. A piece of airplane debris had pierced through her lower leg. Thankfully, it didn't hit an artery. She wanted to pull it out, but the debris was stuck too tightly. Just moving it slightly caused pain so intense she nearly fainted, but she knew she had to remove it. Gathering courage once again, she tried harder this time. Using all her strength, the debris slowly began separating from her leg. Then, she struggled to stand and desperately shouted her boyfriend's name, only to discover another survivor in the back row. She excitedly ran over, but the next second, the tragic sight of the dead body almost scared her unconscious. Helpless, she collapsed onto the ground and slowly fell unconscious. After a long time, mosquitoes woke her up from the faint. Then she heard the sound of a helicopter. It was a rescue team sent by the local government. She quickly tore off a scarf from a nearby corpse and ran toward the sound. Ignoring the severe pain from her wound, she waved the scarf and shouted loudly when she saw the helicopter, but it flew right over her head. Fortunately, an old man on board noticed her. However, the person in charge believed no one could survive a fall from 5,000 meters. At the same time, ground rescue teams began a large-scale search, but everybody they found was dead. There were no survivors at all. Meanwhile, after receiving the news, the girl's mother rushed to the airport, but the airport staff told her it was a car accident. Her daughter had clearly been on a plane. So, was there some hidden truth behind the accident? Why were the staff intentionally hiding it? At the same time, the girl refused to give up. But suddenly, a tiger appeared in her sight. It had tracked her down because of the smell of blood. It was obvious the tiger was hungry. The girl slowly backed away, but accidentally stepped on a branch. The sound instantly attracted the tiger's attention. Compared to corpses, it seemed more interested in the living girl. The helicopter suddenly appeared again. The loud noise scared the tiger away instantly. Although the girl survived, she once again missed the helicopter. The girl remembered the plane was flying northeast, and when the crash happened, her boyfriend had been seated near the front of the plane. That meant the direction she fell should also be northeast, even though she didn't have a compass. Her boyfriend once taught her how to determine directions in the wild. First, find a silver needle. Then rub it against clothes to create magnetism, and place it on a floating leaf. Luckily, there was a teddy bear nearby, and one of its buttons had a silver needle. Soon, she used this method to determine the direction. Then she filled some water from the river, and took clothes from the dead to make movement easier. She accidentally fell into a swamp. She struggled desperately, but the more she struggled, the deeper she sank. Just when she didn't know what to do, she noticed a small tree ahead. Like grabbing a life-saving straw, she used all her strength to reach for it. Luckily, the tree was strong enough and pulled her out before being uprooted, but bad luck kept coming. As she painfully climbed up a hill, because the ground was too slippery, she accidentally fell again. Although she wasn't badly hurt, she had to climb all over again. For a girl with an injured leg, this was torture. After finally climbing up with great difficulty, she encountered the tiger again. She couldn't understand why she was so unlucky. She could only run desperately. The tiger chased right behind her. Just when it was about to catch her, she accidentally fell into a deep pit. Meanwhile, the people in charge successfully found the person responsible for the crash. Normally, when the military has a flight mission, they notify civilian aviation to avoid crossing flight routes. She was swept into the water. She managed to crawl back onto the shore. The bloodstains on the wreckage showed how serious everything was. While searching for supplies inside, she unexpectedly found a flare gun. She immediately loaded it and fired a shot into the sky, but the rescue team wasn't nearby, so nobody saw it. Just as she prepared to fire another shot, she realized this and put the bullet back, deciding to wait until she saw rescuers. At that moment, the temperature suddenly dropped. Shivering from the cold, she gathered dry branches to make a fire. Meanwhile, both families arrived at the crash site, but the area had already been sealed off by the military. The girl's father knew one of the higher-ups, and only by finding him could they learn the truth. But even getting inside was difficult. Suddenly, the boy's mother came up with a bold idea: directly rush through the checkpoint. The soldiers immediately chased after them, but they underestimated her driving skills and failed to catch her even after chasing her to headquarters. Fortunately, because of their connections, the soldiers stopped making things difficult. The man understood their feelings and introduced them to the person in charge. The leader promised the rescue team would do everything possible to find them. After everyone left, he revealed that the helicopter team had previously spotted a girl survivor. Hearing this, the person in charge finally realized the truth and immediately sent helicopters for rescue. Fortunately, the rescue team later discovered the flare she had fired earlier. After smelling the smoke, they were certain someone was nearby and began shouting loudly. The girl finally climbed out. Without wasting a second, she loaded the last flare with trembling hands and fired it into the sky with her final hope. Everyone immediately noticed the light. After a painful 3-day struggle, she was finally rescued. Many people may think surviving a plane crash is impossible, but this is a true story. On the 24th of August 1981, a Soviet passenger plane and a military aircraft accidentally collided at 5,000 meters in the air. This woman was the only survivor, but the incident was intentionally covered up for many years before the truth was finally revealed. She later received huge compensation. Although she later married and had children, whenever she was interviewed by reporters, she would still remember the love of her life and unconsciously burst into tears. They were once so happy. If she had also fastened her seatbelt back then, perhaps the ending would have been different.